Hi guys! Welcome to my review of Pretty Little Liars episode 607, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? How good was this episode? It was so much better than last week's. If you watched my review of last week's video, which will be linked in the end card, then you'll know that I wasn't overly enthusiastic about last week's episode. I really felt like it didn't progress the storyline in any significant way, and I felt like we didn't move forward a whole lot. Whereas in this one, I guess again, I still don't really have a clue who Charles is. However, I felt like this episode was so tense, it was filled with so much more action and sort of excitement than the previous one, and it really got me excited for the next 3 episodes. So at the end of the previous episode, we had seen that Charles had left a card for his father, basically saying, "I'm coming home for my birthday, prepare for my arrival." Kenneth had obviously totally freaked out, gone and dug up Charles's grave, which was all very creepy. And so at the beginning of this episode, we see Kenneth Delantis packing Alison into the car and driving off with her. He doesn't want them to be in Rosewood for Charles's return. Jason, however, stays in Rosewood and is met on the front porch the next morning with a balloon and a card, basically with a name and address on it saying, "Charles Delantis birthday party at such and such an address, come alone." Jason, obviously desperate to figure out who his brother is and find out what happened to him, decides to go along with this. Alison, whose dad has taken her phone and all that away from her and taken them off to a hotel somewhere, finally manages to get her dad's phone and get in contact with Spencer and tell her what Jason is planning to do. So the girls freak out and realise when Jason will not answer the door to them that the only way that they can possibly keep him safe, in their mind, is to put a tracker on his car and follow him. Having made this decision, they remove the trackers from the back of their necks, which is all very lovely. We don't actually see that happening, but apparently Hannah and Spencer have done their online research and know how to cut the tracker out. So they do that, and in the meantime Spencer fills Toby in on what has been going on. Toby's back, incidentally, from his police seminar or whatever it is that he was at, which there was a line very deliberately put in there where he'd arrived at Spencer's door and sort of she'd welcomed him back and then said that she had to go and meet Arya and said, "Oh, but I really do want to hear all about your police seminar," or something like that. And you're like, oh, there we go, there's it just being nicely just put in there for us to know exactly where he's been for the past 3 weeks. So she fills him in and everything. She shows him the photo of Ali and Jason with Charles when Ali was a baby. She explains who Charles is and tells him what they're planning on doing. She asks him for help. He freaks out and is like, "What are you doing?" Naturally, as any sensible person would. And he says that if he's helping, then they're going to do it his way and the girls are going to stay behind and he will follow Jason. Thankfully, he has the sense to decide to not do this alone, so he ropes Lorenzo into it. However, my favourite part of the episode, earlier in the episode there was a strange moment when Spencer and Hannah were in the coffee shop place, which I can never remember the name of, Ezra's place. So there was a strange moment when they were in there when the girl, Sabrina, from behind the counter, seemed to be like listening into their conversation. She got a weird kind of look in her face and went off and made a phone call, which, I don't know, was that relevant? Was I supposed to notice that? Anyway, Spencer had then gone off she was on the phone to Ali and Sabrina came out with a little pack of I thought it was like the cookies that she'd been making her before, but whatever it was, that she'd been putting a little medicinal helping hand for Spencer in. Toby, not knowing what this is, takes them out of her bag and takes them away and eats them all. Now, can I just say, if someone had given me a packet of biscuits or sweets that were quite obviously made for me and had my name on the packet, and my boyfriend took them out of my bag and ate them all, whether or not they had drugs in it, I would not be very pleased. But anyway, Toby just decided to take these sweets out of her bag and ate them all, and of course was then away with the fairies by the time they got to the building that Charles was in. But before all that, Jason has arrived at the building and you can see A's shadow and everything's set up with loads of kids games and gaming machines and stuff. And you feel like you're about to meet Charles and you see his shadow approaching and everything kind of goes quiet and Jason's going, "Charlie, I've done what you asked, I'm here on my own." And just with that, the police burst in, the girls burst in, all hell breaks loose and he gets away. Charles/Charlie gets away. He now thinks that Jason has betrayed him and it's not good. The end of the episode was quite exciting because we saw that during the time that they had all been away, wherever it was that Charles had led them to, he or one of his minions, who knows, had managed to set up in Jason and Ali's house with the projector with more clips from their childhood. So when Charles was about 9 or 10, there's a clip of him with Jason and Ali with a child who's far too old to be Ali. She's about the same age as Jason, but we won't talk about that. At a sort of birthday party for him where obviously Mrs. Delantis had taken him out of Radley for the day, introduced him to Ali and Jason as their cousin Freddie. The very end of the episode was another one of the classic A Black Gloves endings to the episode where he opened up a present that had been left for him, which turned out to be a photo from that day of him with Jason and Ali. But on the front of it there was a card that said, to Charles, I think it said to Charles, from your friend and ally. So you're going, who is this? Is it Arya? It doesn't look like Arya's handwriting. I don't know what Arya's handwriting looks like, but... So anyway, that was a lot of fun for an episode. I really felt like the tension was properly back. A lot of ridiculous things happened. You know it's a good episode of Pretty Little Liars when you're actually talking to the television screen going, no, stop that immediately. So that's what happened on several occasions during that whole sort of scene in wherever it was, the building that Charles had led them to. Hasn't got me any further forward in terms of who Charles is though, so I'm not going to waste time sort of debating. I feel like the only thing that we've now got is that it definitely can't be Toby or Jason. I suspect that Jason can't be involved at all now because that entire situation would have been incredibly pointless had he already been involved, so I don't think that he can be involved, and Toby certainly can't be A. He could still be involved in the sort of outskirts of the A team, but he's definitely not A, so that's counted out 2 of our suspects, which to me really only means that Rain is left. Anyway, it was an excellent episode, I really enjoyed it, and I'm now going to watch the 608 promo. Episode 608 is called Framed, with a capital A, very clever, and I'm just going to watch the promo for it now. Let's hope this is a good one. Oh, red coat! Oh. Right. I don't like this new way that they're doing the promo. I think that they have to, because basically what they've done for the promo for the past 2 weeks is they've started it off with a coming up soon is the summer finale, which takes up like 8 seconds, and then it's kind of a mishmash of new clips and like old clips. So there were clips there from the dollhouse, so we saw them on the tables and stuff, which is good because you really want to know what actually happened in there. But I feel like because they don't want to give too much away, they're like bulking up the promos with clips from before, which is not new stuff, so that's annoying. But I'm just going to quickly watch this again. Is Redcoat back, or is that just a clip from the past? What is Arya wearing in her hair? Wait, when is this? Oh, maybe that is new. Oh. Now, I don't feel like I've got a massive amount of new information from this, but it was good. I'm now caught in this horrible situation where part of me is desperate to know and the other part of me is like, no, because once you know, you can't unknow it and you can't then re-experience the ridiculousness that has been trying to work this out. I really will miss it in this really weird way. It's just become one of these things that you feel like you're so involved in because so many other people are involved in it and everyone's talking about it, and so I am going to miss it. I'm not going to waste a lot of time today sitting talking about theories because I did that in last week's video. So if you haven't seen my last week's video, I will link that here on the end card because I talked a lot more about potential theories and potential identities for A in that one. I haven't really got anything new from that moving into this week, so I will let you watch that if you want to hear me talking about theories. So thank you so much again for watching. I really hope that you're having a great week and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye! And I still stand by that. That's, you know, it can't possibly be him. If they try and make it that, I'll be like, right, this is nonsense. What sort of ridiculous institution is this being run if they can let a